Then the first card you have is your current position coming into the month. Oh, well, that makes sense now. The shark in the water. I love that song. Baby, there's a shark in the water. Okay, never claimed to be a singer. That was just, you gotta let me gussy up and practice. The Six of Cups, though, all joking aside, is the ultimate reconciliation card, okay? This talks about reminiscing, looking back, feeling nostalgic energy, the woulda, shoulda, couldas, the missing each other. This is a connection that has not yet passed or a chapter that has not yet closed. But the biggest thing with the Six of Cups is, does this make a return? Do we have a second go of this? You may be feeling this way because you're over the angry and the spitfire and the pissed off and the crying and whatever, or they're over it, or you're both over it, whatever the case may be. Having this come in as your first card definitely speaks strongly in the fact that you're missing somebody, they're missing you. Maybe it has something to do with the holidays. Maybe it has to do with everything that's going on planet Earth right now that is just seems to be crisis mode for a lot of people, or 99% of people. Not crisis mode terrible, but you get my point. Which brings up for a lot of people, it unearths energies and connections and feelings that we still have that maybe we've buried deep inside, or maybe we've outright been honest saying, I miss this person or I love this person, but now it's in your face, Capricorn, in your face. So what do you do with it? Where do you go from here? The next card you have is how you're feeling coming into the month, and you have the Tower card. The Tower card is crash and burn. The Tower card, but again, this is how you're feeling. So the Tower card is you seeing the spitfire dissolution of, everything crashed and burned. But then the thing with the Tower card is it's a moment. It's a Tower moment. Okay. So this is not a forever end all be all. Maybe you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. The thing with the Tower card is there's always a foundation at the bottom. How strong is that foundation? That's the question. Is it a pick me up and go backwards? Not backwards necessarily, so you're not repeating the same things, but is it a pick me up? We can move forward, pick up the pieces and move forward, or is it a foundation that is being completely re-cemented to bring something new into our lives? The next card you have is your distant past. So the past 5-10 years, could be throughout your childhood, and you have the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is basically saying, look, let the universe hang out here. Let the universe roll with the dice with you here. Because the High Priestess talks about letting go. I mean, you have no control over what is coming. This is a knowledge that's passed down through the ages. Okay. This is something that is a legacy of learning. So you've learned from past mistakes and you're making decisions that are better for you, and you're climbing this ladder, this plateau. You're starting to come to a plateau of, okay, I get it, right from wrong. And you would think you're like dark dove fuck. We're all adults here, but you would think that, right? But at the same time, I don't know about you guys, but I know in relationships I've had, I could be a wee bit of a baby, or they can, or we can all have that, side of not sure what to do. And so I'm, gonna, kind of, beat my fists on the ground or whatever it may be, for to each his own, crying to my pillow. You get my point. The thing here though, is the High Priestess says, look, I'm making peace with the situation. The High Priestess says, I'm not sure where this is going, and that's fine, but I've learned through this lesson of legacy over and over and over, this kind of roller coaster I've been on, I'm learning. It went from me maybe not getting my way and being pissed off because this relationship fell through, or this job fell through, or this didn't work out with a family member, and then all of a sudden saying, you know what, that's okay. Because we all have Tower moments, but we have good memories, amazing memories. And those are the things to bring to the forefront, especially now, especially this time now. There's a purpose here. What's your purpose, Capricorn? The next card you have is your immediate past, or the past few weeks, past month or two. There you are, Capricorn. Now, the Devil card represents Capricorn. So that could be it, plain and simple. Okay. But the Devil card also represents vices, addictions, jealousy, a lot of different issues. Now, it doesn't have to be, oh, we're all, running around as crackheads and drinking ourselves to death. A lot of people just assume that the devil is like this terrible, 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 non-recoverable energy. But the devil sometimes can just be mental. It can be, hey, you know what? I'm stuck in my house all the time and I have to, homeschool 4 kids and my partner is never around. And, you get my point. Like sometimes the devil is just our mind doing what it does best, which can upgrade, downgrade, emotionally wipe us out, emotionally bring us up. So a lot of people get worried about the devil because it can represent toxicity. But here, Capricorn, they're telling me this is more of a learning, a stepping stone. Okay. This is the thing about the devil is not taking responsibility for actions. So whoever you're dealing with, this past person didn't take responsibility for their actions. Now, could be you. Again, cross watchers can be reversed, but this is somebody who, Capricorn, may be reaching out to you or may have reached out to you 20 times in the past year and nothing's changed. So in essence, the devil energy here is saying, look, I'm not changing, Capricorn, but I want in. I want you back. I want to be back with you. And you're reminiscing on the good old days, good times, enjoying yourself. But be cautious of that devil because that talks about, again, it doesn't have to just be vices. It doesn't have to just be, toxicity. It can just be that nothing's changing. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just, Capricorn, I love you so much. And you're going, okay, I love you too. And I recognize the feelings I have for you, but shit, we've been through hell and back. So what's changing? And in the past few months, they've shown you that nothing's changing. So either you're not speaking to them or you're speaking to them very rarely, or for some of you, you guys are ghosted or not talking or haven't communicated at all, but there's still that connection and you just can't quite release it. The next card you have is your distant future, so the next few months. And you have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups gets on my nerves because the Four of Cups is that ship has sailed. I'm wasting my time. I'm going to be taken advantage of. A sense of apathy. For some people, it's like, their ex or even yourself, feeling very self-absorbed. So this is somebody you've dealt with who just consistently has let you down to a certain extent. And Capricorn, what are you going to do about it? Then all of a sudden they showed me a cheerleader. So if somebody you're a cheerleader or a cheerleader is something, because it's literally like, what are we going to do about it? Be aggressive. Like, I don't know where that's coming from, but for somebody out there, it literally, that resonated with like one person who's like, oh, that's me. But anyways, the Four of Cups talks about legitimately, come on, Capricorn, what do you want? What are you going for? Is this person taking advantage of you? Are they taking up your time? I find it ironic though, because the first card coming out is, I miss you. I love you. And you guys have a birthday coming up in the next few months. It's got to be kind of tough to be on that plateau, right? To be on that cusp right there. But there's somebody that you care deeply about, and you can BS me all you want, and I could BS you, but that's not my style. I don't sugarcoat things. Having this pop out here tells me that you're seriously missing somebody. I don't necessarily know that they have their stuff together, and I don't know that you're ready to go on a circle jerk, but there is a reason or a rhyme to that reason as to why you're feeling something significant towards this person. The Knight of Cups, are they swooning you this month? Capricorn, are they going to come in? The Knight of Cups represents, or this placement represents, the immediate future. So throughout November, the Knight of Cups is somebody who's romantic, very whimsical, very dreamy, very, lustful, all of the above. So, do you have somebody who's coming in who's making changes, or do you have somebody who's coming in that you miss, that you guys have that connection, that zing, that electricity in the air, but you can't quite get over this right here, right now? We'll see what the rest of the cards say, but this definitely illustrates an issue of stagnation, that things are not moving into the next phase of getting better. So again, I ask, what is the purpose of this? The next card you have is anything tangible throughout the month. And you have the Nine of Wands. So, I mean, here you are saying, look, I'm capable of handling anything. The Nine of Wands is capability, stamina. It's moving forward. It's forward momentum in the fact that nobody understands what you're made of. And Capricorn, you guys are balls to the wall, like legit, a sign that I always have this very strong energy of, you know, I can be pulled through the freaking mud, dipped into quicksand, and come out smelling like molasses and roses. Like, seriously. So this is telling me that your ultimate power is showing up this month, Capricorn. You guys are amazeballs in the fact that and I don't know why sorry, with the ball thing, I don't know why, but just don't ask, it's coming out. The Nine of Wands is talking about literally the stamina of all staminas, the capability across all land. So this is saying, look, you can handle this past person. Yes, you miss them. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to yourself. But at the same time, you're handling it. They're telling me you're handling it. Like you see this. You're not dumb. You're not like, blind to this energy here. But at the same time, you can persevere. And this person may not think, they're like, oh, Capricorn, you can't live without me. Oh, I miss you. I'm going to tell you everything you need. I'm going to romance the hell out of you. I'm going to start sending messages. It could be somebody you haven't heard from in a year. And all of a sudden they pop up and they're like, oh, Capricorn, I miss you. And you're like, I'm under this mask waiting because you don't know what can come out. Like, you don't know what I'm capable of. The next card you have is how you're feeling throughout the month. You have the Magician card. So the Magician card is always, I have the tools I need to go where I want. It's just about making things happen. You know where you want to go. You know what you want, Capricorn. If it's somebody from the past, fine. But if they're BSing you, call them out on the BS. Can there be a change? Can there be a breakdown of everything, a dissolution of everything, and a new foundation built? Or not? The Magician card is saying that you will know. And for some of you, you already know. You're just waiting for the right moment, the right time to figure out where you're going. The next card you have is your hopes and fears for the outcome of the month. And you have the Empress card. The good old Empress. Very loving, very nurturing, very, but stable within her or his self. I don't apply sex to the cards. The Empress card talks about, being very nurturing, but being very nurturing with the understanding that you're being nurturing in the fact that, or loving or sweet, in the fact that this is kind of a cycle, death, rebirth, death, rebirth, death, rebirth. So in essence, and I'm not talking about a physical death, I'm talking about, a death to a situation or an ending to a situation and then a rebirth. So ultimately there is some sort of reconciliation happening here, Capricorn, or something coming in reconciliation wise. But with the Empress, you have the ability to know whether this is healthy or not. You have the ability to know whether this is something that is good for you or not. And you won't fight this decision. You may be thinking about this person. There might be the ultimate reconciliation card right here saying, oh, we're getting back. But you're not a doormat. You're not like, you'll know what I mean. It may still turn back around, but there's some anger here. There's some hurt here, and it needs to be discussed. It needs to be figured out because you have the Three of Swords here, which is heartbreak, despair, pain. It's the ultimate heartbreak card. So this person broke your heart, and every time you see them, there's this toxicity that comes into play, and you don't want to waste your time or feel like you're being taken for granted by this person. So ultimately, you know what you need to do, which may be to cut this out even more or not put any energy into it and see how far they come. Because the Hangman, which oftentimes represents Pisces, but the Hangman talks about you don't need to make a decision right now. You can hold on and not make a decision. But at the same time, you've put energy into this relationship. You've put yourself out there. And although you're willing to do it again for the right person, this past situation was devastating. And the Three of Swords talks about you still have some mending to do. And this person still has some mending to do. The Hangman, though, is you saying, I don't have to put myself out there right now. There's somebody here, Capricorn, who is massively in love with you, they are not ready to let this go. You love them too, but man, they have some toxic behavior or some major issues, and I don't know that they can be overcome right now. Okay. Again, time is fluid, so it's situational. But then you have the Knight of Swords here, which is somebody saying, damned if I do, damned if I don't. The Knight of Swords is hostility, confrontation, all these things, this pent up energy. I have things to say. The interesting thing about the conclusion of all of this is the Judgment card. Okay? Because right now somebody's angry. It could be you. It could be them. Maybe you're hashing it out. You love each other, but how could we make this work? We couldn't make this work. There's all these, worry and disarray and what are we going to do and whatnot. But the interesting thing here is the Judgment card. This is saying you have all the information you need. It's like the tools of the magician. You don't know how to use them, but here the Judgment card is saying you do. This is the information is right in front of you. Okay. Forgive yourself and forgive others from the past. Okay. Accept this situation. Take responsibility for your part. If they take responsibility for their part, fine. But this is talking about like behaviors that need to be atoned and then freedom. So if you want to forgive the past and move forward, then all of this negativity, all of this heartbreak, all of this, tower moments, all that need to be forgiven. If you aren't ready for that and you don't want the past, then you need to close that section and get rid of the toxicity. The Judgment card talks about are you able to forgive yourself and the past? Because none of us are perfect. So anybody out there, finger pointing and saying, well, they screwed me over and it's all their fault. Well, yeah, it's always somebody's fault, right? But at the end, we can all also take lessons for the fact that we play a part in either allowing people in our lives that treat us the way that we don't deserve. And then it becomes, it's never our fault when somebody's abusive or cheats or any of that. So I'm not ever saying that those types of behaviors are okay. But when we bitch about, well, he or she cheated and then you let them back in and they do it again, there comes a time when you say, okay, now I take responsibility for my actions because I didn't respect myself or love myself enough to not say goodbye and cut that connection. Easier said than done. I know it. Trust me, I've been there tenfold. So in essence, the Judgment card is saying, if you love this person and you want to make a go of it, you need to forgive and forget. If you are done with this situation, then be completely done, Capricorn, and not just